All right, hey everyone, how's it going? Hope you're having a great day. Yeah, thanks for being here. Nice. All right. We're having a great. What day is today? Friday? Friday, yeah. Just right here. All right, so yeah, let's read some interesting news, some fun stuff. Should be interesting. Okay, I minimize my OBS. There it is. It's been a while since I did a live stream, so hope you're all doing great. Hope you've all been doing quite a lot of interesting things these past few months. So, yeah, nice. Accidentally on the stream. Not quite accidentally, just I definitely tried planning it. Honestly, I tried planning it since like Wednesday, but always so busy with so many things. But yeah, today finally managed to do a stream. It's been a while since I did a public live stream. I mean, I normally do the members only live stream. So if you're a member every Saturday, remember how there's a private live stream to ask any questions, something like that. But yeah, I haven't done a public live stream in quite a bit. So yeah, so this should be fun. Should be nice. A command to re-randomize my avatar. You can just customize it. There's a I haven't made a video tutorial on it. What did I call it? Custom character, custom there you go. How to make your own custom livestream character. Or rather, you don't have to make a draw. You can draw if you want, but you can also just go onto the website, customize, and you can modify how the whole thing works. So that's actually pretty fun, pretty nice. Yeah. Think about the new GPT voice model not release. Not release? What does that mean? As far as I know, it hasn't been out yet. But yeah, it should be interesting. I mean, the original demo, when was that? Like 3 months ago? That was quite a while ago. That was definitely an impressive demo. So yeah, we'll see. Hey, Rootbean! Hey, how's it going? Nice, yeah. If you left making games. Nope, I'm always trying to build things. Like, just recently making the RTS for dot score, so that was a fun game to make. And yeah, in terms of proper game, my last game, Ding Gardens, came out last year. And yeah, I definitely still want to get back to it. There are still a bunch of things that I want to build upon it, not to mention make a console build and all sorts of things. So yeah, definitely still want to do more, let's say, normal game development and so on. So yeah, that should be fun. Get motivation to code, but stream pop up and let's see what happens here. Sure, I mean, you can make a 5-minute detour to watch the stream and then go back, work on your code, do your thing. So yeah, combine both a little bit, you know, make a nice break, then go back to work. That's should be a fun thing. Hey, Gabor, hey, how's it going? Terminal, hey everyone. All right. Okay, so yeah, so by the way, this is the Game Dev Report. I don't know how many of you know about it. It's on the pinned comment. This is what I've been publishing like every single week for the past, I don't even know when did I start, the end of May. So May, June, July, yeah, so I've been doing it for 2.5 months. Basically every week send out a newsletter with a bunch of news. So if you want to stay up to date with the latest in game dev, tech, and gaming, definitely check it out. So here, let's read the last one, which actually had some really interesting things. So yeah, that should be fun. Can I work on a game on Steam when I don't have Steamworks and the account holder only got Steamworks? I'm not sure what you mean by that. The only person that needs Steamworks is the person uploading the build, but without that, you can still work on the game. So yeah, I'm not sure what you mean. When are you switching to Godot? I definitely do want to try out Godot at some point. So yeah, no idea when, but definitely something I have in my to-do list. My very massive to-do list that is constantly very massive. It's always way too big. Always got way too many things to do. But yeah, definitely do want to do. Same thing for making beginner tutorials, more beginner tutorials, more tutorials in general, all kinds of things. So yeah, definitely still want to do lots of things. Jaw exercises. No, not really. As far as I know, those don't really work. So yeah, that's it's not quite a thing. Yeah. How'd you learn to speak English? Quite simply by watching Cartoon Network. That was kind of well, and by programming, since everything related to programming is in English. But yeah, I spent a big portion of my childhood just watching Cartoon Network, and it did not have any subtitles or anything like that, so I was just watching. I thought it was fun, and I would learn a word here and there, and eventually, after a while, after spending a ton of time on the internet, programming and so on, so yeah, basically just learned it, let's say, not intentionally. So like I was constantly interacting with things in English, and by that I sort of randomly learned. And yeah, by now, honestly, nowadays English works. My brain works more in English than it does in Portuguese, which is kind of a fun thing, kind of an interesting thing. So yeah, that's an interesting thing. Okay, let me just read a bunch of things, then get back to some of your questions, something like that. And yeah, last week I saw Deadpool and Wolverine, pretty fun movie. That was quite nice. I really enjoyed it. I haven't seen a Marvel movie since like Endgame. So I haven't seen a Marvel movie in like 6 years or something like that. Or I guess I saw Deadpool 2, which I guess came out after that. But anyways, just saw it, really interesting. And it does make me think, makes me want to build a game where the character never dies. So how would you make a mechanic like that interesting? Because basically if the player character never dies, then it's kind of hard to make it a compelling thing. I mean, if there's no lose condition, then it's kind of hard to make a compelling experience out of that. But yeah, that's definitely an interesting game design question. How to make a game that somehow works when the player does not die. So for example, the enemies could keep moving after taking out the player. So some kind of open world game. So the player is, I guess, some kind of immortal vampire, something like that. And a bunch of enemies come in, they take out the player, and then the player just stays there on the floor while the enemies keep rolling around, going on their own path on the open world. I think it could be a fun one. So basically the world exists outside of you. So you pick a bunch of fights and the enemies take you out, and eventually you come back to life and keep roaming around. I think that could be an interesting one. Or simply just taking a score penalty when dying, so just a simple one. Or maybe they don't die but lose all upgrades or items. So definitely a bunch of interesting possibilities when it comes to building a game where the character does not die. That could definitely be in. If you're interested in a game design challenge, then that's a fun challenge. Try and make something where the character never dies, the player never dies, and somehow find a way to make that compelling. So yeah. When you die, the enemy will level up their stats. That's a bit of a tricky one, because then it becomes like a snowball of difficulty. So you die once, then the enemies are more difficult, increase the odds of you dying again, which then, and so on. So yeah. It could be interesting as long as you then have some sort of catch-up mechanic. Like in, what is it called? Mario Kart, where if you are way too far behind, you get like a speed boost in order to make things semi-competitive. So you could do something like that. So like every time you die, the enemy levels up, so the enemies become super strong, but the stronger they get, if that gap becomes way too big, you can then give the player some kind of bonus, some kind of special thing in order to catch up. Then when they catch up, take away that bonus and things like that. So yeah, that could definitely be a very interesting approach. So yeah. If you want the game design challenge, this would be a fun one, yeah. 26, will you update the 70 features course? Yep, I'm constantly thinking about ways to update that course. It's one of the many things that I'm constantly thinking about, so yeah. Although not necessarily related to Unity 6, there are still many non-Unity 6 features that I very much would like to cover. So yeah, like for example, the navigation package, that one has updated quite a while ago, and I haven't yet looked into it, so I definitely would like to make a lecture on that. Same thing for Scene Machine, because Scene Machine 3.0 just came out just a while ago, actually. Like, now when you install Scene Machine, it automatically installs 3.0, which honestly is a bit annoying, just because I'm already so used to using 2.0, so I already know how it works, so just put it, and everything works great. So I really like Scene Machine 2.0, but yeah, definitely got to spend some time looking into 3.0, because 3.0 is a massive update. And apparently, oh, it was last year. Oh, I thought it was a few months ago, but no. Apparently 3.0 came out almost a year ago. Wow, that is quite crazy, yeah. But yeah, so 2.9 got a last update in August of 22, and then yeah, made 3.0, which is a massive change. So yep, anyways, one of the many things I eventually would like to cover, so that should be quite fun, quite interesting, yeah. Diablo 2, you're losing XP by dying. Really? Oh, interesting. I don't think I've ever played Diablo 2. I only played Diablo 3. So 2, yeah, I don't think I've ever played 2, but yeah, definitely an interesting game. Okay, so let's see. And actually, sadly, this Game Dev Report starts out with a sort of a bummer news. Game Informer ends after 33 years. So it really sucks, but I mean, for a newsprint magazine to be alive still in 2024, that is honestly quite an impressive thing, but yeah, so Game Informer, one of the most subscribed game magazines that started all the way back in '91, has just published its last issue. And on the website, they have just a farewell, a bunch of messages. After 33 years, which is actually quite a lot for a news organization like that. That was definitely a big one. So yeah, for the last 3 decades, they provided in-depth coverage, reviews, and all sorts of insights into the game industry. It was always a big thing for a game to get covered on the front page of Game Informer. Which, yeah, I remember reading all kinds of news websites. Like I don't think Game Informer had a physical edition here in Portugal, so I'm pretty sure I've never seen a physical thing, but I do remember reading websites like Gamasutra, and they would always mention, okay, this game has a really interesting thing on the cover of Game Informer. So yeah, it was definitely a big thing. Although sadly, it appears the website has been completely wiped and only has a farewell message. I hope this is just a temporary thing because it's just happened. Hopefully in the future they will have the website back as a nice archive. At least you can still find it on the Wayback Machine. So yeah, this really sucks. Like, they had so much information on the website, but when they died, it literally just ended up just like this. So just post a message, no links, no nothing. Although thankfully, oh no, oh crap, did I not post the correct URL? No, I didn't. It just, this one kind of messed up the link address, does it? Is the UTM? Yeah, it's probably the UTM that breaks it. Okay, I think it's still, yeah, because this one had, the website had so many things on there, and thankfully it does, since it was a very popular website, it does have a lot of screenshots on the Wayback Machine. But yeah, it definitely does suck how the official website just dead, no memories, no nothing, so that really does suck. So yeah, that was a bad thing. Why don't you reply on my comments? I'm trying, but trying to read, reply to comments, doing everything at the same time, it's a bit tricky, so I'm trying. Having a hard time getting better at programming in C#. Any tips? I'm so poor, I can't afford your course. Any tips? I mean, you can follow the, if you're talking about the C# course, there are free videos over here on YouTube. So learn C#. So if you want, you can definitely follow. This is the beginner one. This is the intermediate one. So you can go through those, and eventually within, what day is it? 9. So around, I don't know, like 15, 16, 18, around this time, maybe over here on a Monday. So maybe on the 19th of August, I will publish the video lectures for the advanced section free here on YouTube. So anyways, even if you don't have any money, you can definitely learn a lot from this. And where was the comment? And basically getting better just involves looking through some tutorials in order to learn what the C# do, what can C# do, and learn all the syntax for all the things. And hey, yeah, have fun at work, yeah. So first learn the syntax, follow tutorials in order to learn that. But then you have to actually apply it. So when it comes to getting better at programming, C#, or honestly, literally anything, you'll learn the thing and then you have to actually apply that thing. So you have to write a bunch of code, do a bunch of mini games, a bunch of prototypes, a bunch of mechanics, a bunch of systems, a bunch of random programs, all kinds of things. Basically, the more code you write, the better you become. So yeah, learn how the code works, learn the syntax, learn all of that, and then spend some time actually putting that into practice. I mean, that is a big reason why in the course I defined the interactive exercises. It was specifically for that, so you can actually learn by doing. And those interactive exercises, those are crappy ads. Those are part of the premium version of the course, but over here on the free version, I still made sure to include all the titles for all the exercises. Let me just skip this. So at the end of every single one, there you go. It shows this thing, so you can, okay, this one doesn't have exercise. Let's go over there onto the variables one. There you go. So if you don't have the premium version, you can just look at these titles and you can basically do some work yourself in order to figure out the answers to all of these. So what exactly is a variable? Why are data types important? You can do some kind of exercise to change the unit speed. So change some kind of variable, define a speed variable, double some kind of variable, and so on. So even without paying anything, you can just watch these 3 videos, guide yourself to do all this work, answer all the FAQs, do some exercise quiz. But essentially, at the end of the day, it's really all about experience. So the more code you write, the better you become. So write a ton of code and you will become quite a bit better. So in general, that's what I would say. Really work. Your free courses are probably the best source. That's awesome. Hey, I'm glad people enjoy the courses. And yeah, as long as people keep enjoying them, I will definitely keep making them. So yeah, that's nice. How long did it take you to plan out the code structure for the RTS course? As a rookie, I'm amazed how you came out with solutions I'd never. 2 months, maybe. Yeah, something like that. A month and a half to 2 months, something like that was how long it took me to build the prototype. So basically, first I had to spend a bunch of time myself learning all about dots. So reading the entire documentation, reading all of they have a really awesome dots ebook, Unity dots ebook. And I think it's this one. Yeah, like a 50-page ebook. So I definitely recommend, it's over here, the link. Oh, no, it's not that. It's this one. Yeah. So a really nice ebook talking all about dots. So I spent a bunch of time going through this. I spent a bunch of time reading documentation, spent a bunch of time watching all the videos on dots that I could find on YouTube, all kinds of things. And then, of course, like I was saying a while ago, at some point you have to put into practice. So I did all of that, all that research in order to learn how it works. Then I started building a prototype. So I started experimenting with a ton of approaches. And yeah, eventually I did find the final structure. But again, keep in mind, whenever you watch one of my tutorials or really any kind of code, any kind of game, whenever you see that, keep in mind that you are looking at the final version of that thing. So for example, when you look at my dots course, the code that I'm teaching there is not the code that I initially came up on the first draft. So I first make a prototype, get it working, and then I iterate upon it, I modify all kinds of things until finally reaching the final thing. So basically what you are watching is essentially like version, I don't know, 30 or 40 of the initial code that I first did. So I never plan out the code perfectly from the beginning. I plan out something, I start building prototypes, start building something, and then just constantly iterating upon it until it finally reaches something that is pretty nice, yeah. First stream, C# videos helped a ton. Nice, yeah, I'm glad my videos helped. Nice, so yeah, that is awesome. Okay, so let me just keep reading. Okay, so yeah, still on the topic of Game Informer, which is, I guess, the positive way to look at it is how it's actually amazing that they lasted this long. So really 3 decades on a print magazine, especially considering how YouTube has grown so much. So yeah, nowadays there's excellent stuff on YouTube. So review channels like Game Ranks, interview channels like NoClip, and deep dive channels like AI in Games. So yeah, if you want to learn, I definitely recommend at least these two, like AI in Games. This is a really awesome channel. They've got such super detailed videos specifically on AI. So like the one on fear, that one is really awesome. There was one on the AI in Watch Dogs Legion, I think it was. That was really awesome. So yeah, a lot of excellent videos if you want to learn all about AI. And NoClip, of course, if you want to see documentaries, really well produced documentaries. And yeah, coming soon, Design of Dredge. So that's an awesome game. So that should be a fun one. So yeah, if you like watching game documentaries, then definitely recommend this channel. Definitely really nice. So yeah, here in Portugal, we didn't have Game Informer, but I do have fond memories of reading a few Megascores. So yeah, this was like the local thing. Megascore magazine. Can I find some images? Nope. Ah. Oh, not store. Score. There you go. Nice local magazine. A bunch of games. Oh, that was the Heart Dark. That was nice. That was a fun one. Yeah, a bunch of stuff. That's what? Tomb Raider Legend. Oh, that one. Nice. So yeah. So this was the local magazine here in Portugal for a long time. And Big Gamer. That was another one. That was also fun. So yeah. Anyways, here we did not have Game Informer, but we did have that. And yeah, I remember being amazed reading an article for an upcoming game where the graphics looked indistinguishable from real life, and it was The Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion. And yeah, it's really funny how, I mean, I don't know how many of you are roughly my age, but yeah, when I was a kid and looking at the games, I definitely didn't look at a game like this and I thought, there's no way this can be better. There's no way this game can ever look better than this. Steampower.com. Because yeah, it really is amazing. I mean, nowadays looking at it, you can obviously see that this looks quite dated, but back then this looked insanely realistic. I remember looking at it and thinking, holy crap, I wish I had a PC that was able to run this. This looks so beautiful, so perfect. Look at that. Oh man, Oblivion. That was a really awesome game. I did play it for quite a long time. I definitely did all the side quests, everything. So yeah, definitely an amazing game. It was quite impressive how good it looked back then. So yeah, this came out in 2K7, yeah. Quite a long time ago, and back then it did look quite amazing. So yeah, it's a shame Game Informer shut down, but yeah, nowadays there's lots of places to get lots of news, lots of things. So yeah, that should be fun. Think of the AI in Alien Isolation of Alien. I see that it's pre-Genie's AI. I've never actually played it just because it's sort of a horror game and I don't do well with horror, but I definitely do need to play it just to check out the AI. And I'm pretty sure that AI in Games, I'm pretty sure he did a video on it. So, let's go. Alien. I'm pretty sure there was, yeah, there you go. Alien Isolation. So yeah, I think it was actually, no, I thought it was one of his first videos, but apparently not, 15. But yeah, I definitely remember, I probably saw this video, so this one was probably awesome. So yeah, I've never played it, but it does look quite amazing. And it's especially great from the context of being an AI that makes the player feel things. So it's not an AI that is like insanely clever, but rather it is really good at making you think that it is extremely clever. So yeah, if you want to look at awesome AI, definitely do play the game, watch this, and yeah, it's definitely one of the ones that is usually given out as the example of, okay, this is excellent top tier AI, definitely do that. For dynamic typing or static typing, me personally, I really dislike var. Now again, whenever I say this, I have to say that's really just personal preference. There's absolutely nothing wrong with var, so if you like var, definitely go ahead and use it. But yeah, for me personally, I really do not like var, just because I think it makes the code much less readable. I like var. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, hey Daniel, it's you. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, personally, I really dislike var just because usually it makes it not, well, I guess not usually, it depends on how you're using it. Like if you're using var as like grabbing a variable that is a return of some kind of function, I really dislike the fact that most of the times I cannot tell what type that thing is. So I'm calling some function, I have no idea what the function returns just by looking at the function name, so I have no idea what type that thing will be. So that is why personally, I really like being extremely explicit. So I really like saying, okay, this is of type int, it's a list of object, it's a game object that says something. So yeah, personally, I really don't like var. I really like being extremely explicit about what types I'm using in, but that's really just personal preference. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with var. So if you like using, definitely use it. But me personally, I won't keep being as explicit as possible because yeah, I definitely do prefer reading the code like that. Yeah. Speak to you in private. You can send me an email, but lately I've been getting way too many emails, so that is quite tricky. Feels like you're playing with an alien entity, not a dumb AI. Yeah, I mean that right there is the perfect description of what an excellent AI is. Like you forget that you're actually playing against a computer opponent. You're just really enjoying something that is compelling. You're just enjoying a very compelling experience and not worrying about, okay, there's some code running in the background. No, it's really a creature that is actually attacking me. So yeah, kind of like that. Advice to improve my channel. Maybe I'll check it out later. Okay. Is Unity 6 fully released? Nope, right now it is still in the, what do they call it? Preview? So yeah, not yet, but it should be coming out later this year. I'm assuming it will be coming out sometime around Unite. Which, by the way, I will actually be at Unite. So if any of you are coming to Barcelona, I won't be there. So go ahead, let me know. It should be a fun time. So there's a bunch of things. And they've actually just published the session list. So if you want to see all of the sessions they're going to have, all things like one on accelerating the creation of your competitive multiplayer game. Okay, achieve your vision faster with technical arts tools in Unity 6. So yep, they've already published all of the talks they're going to have. So if you're going to Unite, definitely check that out. And if you see me there, yeah, come ahead and say hi. Oh, Daniel, you're doing a talk. Nice, that's cool. Yeah, I will definitely go there. What is it about? Can I find it here? If I search for your name, does it show up? There you go. Connecting the dots. Let's make a game with entities. Okay, that sounds fun. That sounds nice. For ECS fundamentals to entities 1.3, give you a bird's eye view of the API landscape today through a hands-on live tutorial with ECS. Session will empower you to explore the API and build the confidence to continue your ECS development journey. All right, that sounds awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely be there. That is definitely a topic that I'm interested in. So yeah, should be fun. Yeah, I hope you're preparing well. Should be nice. Definitely looking forward to it. Peak performance. Okay, that's a great theme. That should be fun. Hey, the Qualks. Hey, how's it going? Right. Was I? Yeah. Okay, let me. What? Oh, let's see. I thought the page was cut off, but something like that. When the observer and facade patterns in my project, instead of having scripts communicate with each other directly, interact through a single script that serves as a facade class. What do you think of this approach? When it comes to names of design patterns, that is always something that confused me. So the facade pattern, I'm not 100% sure. I remember what exactly that is. Is that like an interface? So you have like an interface, and with the observer pattern, you are communicating with the interface instead of each other directly? Just a wrapper. Okay. So I guess I just don't understand exactly what you're doing. So you've got the observer pattern, which is really just events. So you're publishing something, listening to something. So then you've got the facade pattern. So you're using some kind of thing to the. Okay, so I'm not sure how you're using it, but single script to communicate with that. Oh, so you've got like a main event manager and then you are like listening to that main event manager instead of having different objects listening to themselves. Is that what you mean? If so, that can definitely be a valid approach. Personally, I do prefer to register directly with the event, but yep, having an event manager and basically anyone that listens to events talks to that one, and anyone that publishes events talks to that one. Basically, you have an intermediary in between those two. That can also work. So yeah, personally, normally, I usually just connect to the event publisher directly, but having the event manager in the middle, that can also work quite a bit. Get him in, there's a lot of good videos on patterns. Nice. And yeah, actually, speaking of patterns, one of the things that that I want to cover in a little bit is Unity actually has an excellent little project that they put out on the SSR alongside a really nice what is it called? A really nice ebook. And yeah, it talks about solid principles, design patterns. So yeah, in a little bit, I wanna go through this, and just in case I'm pretty sure I had a tab here. Nope, not that one. Nope. There you go, that one. So if you want, Unity has that awesome one. So yep, definitely do. This is a great ebook. It's quite amazing how Unity has so many awesome ebooks, so much information. So yeah, if you read through all those ebooks, you're definitely going to learn quite a bit. And yeah, this one is actually quite an amazing thing. Yeah, problem. I forgot coding syntax, how they are declared. Is my memory problem by me? Do you mean like you forget the syntax for C#? Sure, if it's a basic syntax like how do I define a function, yeah, that's just something you learn with experience. So definitely just write more code. That is usually, so kind of like the question that I was answering a while ago. The answer is really experience. So really just write a ton of code and eventually become supernatural. This is how you define a function. This is how you define a variable, property, class, whatever. So yeah, when it comes to basic syntax, it's really just a basic memorization. But when it comes to problem solving, every problem is always different. So when it comes to problem solving, it is not about memorizing solutions. It's about becoming better at problem solving. But then when it comes to syntax, sure, memorize that, and in a little bit you should be able to memorize quite a lot of things. Yeah. Okay, let me just keep going, because there's actually quite a lot of interesting things. So yeah, the second story is start small and stay small. And it's actually about a really interesting Reddit post on a topic that I personally very much agree with. So that is, the post is titled, Why I Absolutely Love Making Small Games and Why You Should Do It Too. So the goal is to start with a small scope, making small games. So that's really the common advice. But then keep doing exactly that. So you don't have to graduate to making multi-year games after making multi-month games. You can really keep the scope small and really just keep building fun small games forever. So this is definitely advice that I really like, because personally, at least for me, it doesn't really, I don't find it very appealing to spend like 5 years making a game. I really much prefer making 5 games in 5 years as opposed to just trying to go for one massive one. Although at the same time, some people really prefer that. I do think that is a much more high risk, potentially high reward option. So personally, I do prefer the slightly lower risk of making 5 games in 5 years, because then you have essentially five chances at making a game that does find success. So personally, I definitely do prefer this advice of small scope, making small games, and really just stay there, so you don't have to graduate to making multi-year games. You can't just always keep making small games. And in this example, this post is written by one of the developers behind Minimal Lane, so that's a really nice cozy game that has been very successful. And he mentions a bunch of benefits, and one of the main benefits is simply cost. So basically, if you spend 5 months working on a game, you'll likely just need a couple hundred or a few thousand copies sold to break even. Whereas if you work on a game for 5 years, you'll likely need tens of thousands of sales, which is really tricky to achieve. So yeah, the faster you make your games, the more efficient you are, the more smaller scope you make it, the much easier it is to make profitable games. So not just finish the game, but actually make the game, and being able to make enough money so you can make the next game and so on. So yeah, that is one big reason why small games are really awesome. And making multiple smaller games also helps you test out lots of ideas. And maybe one that people really enjoyed, where you can spend more time working on a sequel. So you can put out tons of games in like every 6 months. Then one of those, maybe people really vibe with that idea, they really like it. Then you can take that one and you can spend, let's say, 1 extra year working on either a sequel, building upon it, something like that. Because basically, it is really difficult to find something that sticks, something that resonates with a large amount of people so that it can be successful. So if you do find something like that, then yeah, definitely working on it, pushing it forward, I do think that is an excellent strategy. So use this, make small games to test out ideas. And then if you really want to make a game that is like a multi-year game, then at least I would say test out lots of ideas to find out one that does have the potential to find success when you make it for multiple years. So yeah, the post is very well written, explaining lots of benefits of this approach. Definitely give it a read. And yeah, this one does have, it's a pretty massive post. It's all really nice. So yeah, this one is from the developer of Miniman Lane, which was actually a very successful game. Look at that, 2.9 thousand reviews. This is one of those cozy games. You run a street and it's all really nice. And it has really beautiful colors. So it definitely is chill, cozy vibes. Just have some fun characters, some fun things. So yeah, sometimes hard to think of small ideas. Well, the main one for that is really just think of, not a big idea, but think of a normal size idea and then just break it apart into pieces. So like for example, in this game, maybe the big idea would be something like SimCity, where you have an entire city with tons of NPCs and you talk to all of them. So this could be an example of a small scope out of that big idea. So basically you take the entire city and you cut it down. Okay, no, I'm just going to make just one single road of this city. So really just a handful of buildings. Instead of building the entire city, just build that. So when it comes to making small ideas, think of a normal size idea and then just break it apart into all the pieces and really just make something much smaller, very focused. So instead of making something with 100 mechanics, focus on just 5 of those and make those work really well. So that is probably a great way to come up with small ideas. So think of something like GTA and then think, okay, no, I'm just gonna make the driving. I'm just gonna make missions. I'm just gonna make like a police simulator game, like a what do you call them? Like the ambulance game sort of thing. Like GTA is a huge game, has all those mini games, and each of those mini games could by themselves be one complete game. So, yep. Started learning game development. Started learning coding 1 week ago. Nice. Yeah, that's cool. I have a month to prepare for my university project. Okay, wow, that that took a turn. That took a jump. You started learning 1 week ago, and you have 1 month to prepare for your university project. Okay, I feel like it's missing a little bit there, but okay. How should I start, and from where and how could I learn? Okay, so if you want to learn, where's my tab? Where's my tab? Definitely check out my where's my? Because I didn't call it Kitchen Cows. Watch my, there you go. My free Kitchen Cows course. Definitely go ahead and watch that. It's 10 hours, so technically you won't really be able to learn all of that in just 1 month, but you'll be able to gain quite a bit of knowledge, so that's what I would say. But yeah, 1 month for a university project. I have no idea how complex that university project is, but yeah, not sure how you started coding just a week ago and suddenly have just 1 month to prepare. So yeah, that will be quite something. Anyone can give a game idea? How do you generate a good game idea? I had this question in my head forever. Can you give some tips? By the way, I love your video so much. Nice. And that is a very tricky question. That is essentially the $1 million question. So if you have a way to guarantee that you have good ideas, then you would basically print money. Because the idea is such an important thing when it comes to a game being successful or not. So when it comes to that, the basic idea, or I guess the better way, is come up with a ton of ideas. And then depending on your knowledge, you have to be able to analyze what exactly makes a good idea. And how do you do that? Essentially, you just look at the Steam page, you go and see what sells. So basically you see, for example, down here, new and trending. So you go over here and you see all of these games. So all of these that are in the popular new release, all of these are doing at least decently well. So you come up with 100 ideas, and then you study this page, you refresh it every single day in order to see what games sell, what people want to play. And then with that, over time, you get a better sense for what kind of games can sell, and specifically what kind of level of quality the average person on Steam is expecting. So as you can see, the competition is definitely very fierce. So the amount of games, look at these awesome games coming out literally every single day. What is that? Knock on Coffin. Oh, a card game with vampires, I guess. Anyways, so yeah, lots of variety. All of them is really awesome. So that is something that you'll learn over time as you analyze, so meaning not just play, but actually analyze, okay, why is this game being successful? As you analyze that, you get better yourself at being able to identify what is a decent idea versus an excellent idea. But at that point, but even if you do that, you still don't have a guarantee of a good idea. So then what you do next is you really just test out the idea by, there are many ways, but one of the easiest quote unquote, is basically make a bunch of GIFs, a bunch of short videos, and just put them on TikTok, Reddit, Twitter, whatever. Just make a bunch of tiny things, put them out and see what the reaction is. Like if you post on Twitter and you get 0 likes, that might be an indicator. It might be an indicator that either the idea is not very compelling, or it might be an indicator that you simply were unlucky and didn't reach. That's the issue where with testing, you can't fully test, you can only slightly test. So essentially, if you put it out on Twitter and you get 10,000 views on a brand new account, that is definitely a clear sign that there is interest in that idea. Same thing if you go on Reddit, if you go on TikTok and so on. If you make a TikTok short video, basically a prototype of your game, like a mini visual vertical slice, if you do that and it goes viral, then you know, okay, this idea definitely has something. On the other hand, if you put it and it gets like 10 views, that probably means it doesn't have way too much. So yeah, when it comes to testing ideas, first, grow your own skills of being able to analyze what sells on Steam, or I guess what players want to buy. For me personally, I work mainly on Steam, so that's my focus. But you can say what sells on Steam, what sells on mobile, what sells on console, something like that. So develop that thing and then come up with a bunch of ideas and test them out. So that's how I would do it. Oh yeah, for mixing ideas. Yeah, good artist copy, great artist steal, best artist steal from multiple sources to hide their tracks. Yeah, basically combine multiple things. So yeah, if you want an idea that has better odds of finding success, yeah, definitely take 2 already successful games and come up with your own mishmash of that genre. Definitely do something like that. So yeah, Combo Lamb, Binding of Isaac, plus Stardew Valley. Yep, all of those 3 very successful games, so that is quite nice. Try to make a game development studio, or do you prefer solo? I'm really not good at managing people, so yeah, for me, making a proper game development studio, probably never going to make that, although who knows, perhaps one day in the future I will work at a studio, meaning I will not be the one in charge, I will just be working alongside other people. Maybe that could be fun, but yeah, building my own studio, being in charge of building my own studio, yeah, that requires way too many management skills, which is definitely not the kind of skills that I have. So yeah, that is a and yeah, game studio is slowly dying off because they can't make enough money making games anymore. That is also one of my benefits of being a solo developer. I really don't need that much money in order to make a living. Whereas if I was a studio with like 10 developers to pay, all of a sudden even small games become really expensive and need to sell tens of thousands of copies. Whereas, for example, on my own thing, like I talked about the results for Dinky Gardens. So this is, looking at the reviews, this is a pretty regular game. It's definitely not a hit game, definitely not a hyper success, but definitely more than enough for me to pay my wages, pay my living. So yeah, being a sole developer or a small scale developer also makes it much easier to make profitable games. Although of course, that doesn't mean that I have to do all the work. So pros and cons, kind of like that. The 20 game challenge, yeah, I just heard about it recently, and it's actually a really awesome one. And yep, there you go, this one. It's really awesome, a really excellent idea. I was told about it from someone on the private Discord a while ago, and it's really awesome. Basically, it's the idea of building a ton of simple games, well, simple to complex games. Just build a ton of games, specifically 20 games, and you will learn quite a lot. So I definitely do think this is an awesome thing. So yeah, if you're looking for challenges for games to make, definitely look at this one. Building simple games, or not even simple, building any kind of game is always going to give you a ton of experience, a ton of knowledge. So yeah, definitely a big fan of this concept. And yeah, honestly, my long-term plan is to eventually have video tutorials on making a bunch of these simple games. I would love to do that. So I would love to have a free 2-hour course on making Pong, another one on making Flappy Bird, making Breakout, Asteroids, that's an awesome one, Lunar Lander, that is really cool, Mario Bros, just a basic one, but Worms, that would be fun, that would be nice, Super Mario Load, that would be cool, making Doom, maybe, Minecraft, yeah, that could be interesting. And yeah, so yeah, if you're looking for basic games to build, to grow your skills, definitely go ahead, follow this website, which has a really nice list of nice simple games to do. So yeah. And consider it too personal, but would your games provide enough income for you alone, not including YouTube, etc.? Yep. I mean, I did make my games for how long? I started this channel in 2018, and I started making my first Steam game in 2013. So I guess for 5 or 6 years, yeah, I was making a living just from my games. So yeah, specifically for my use case, specifically for living here in Portugal, where in the beginning, when I first moved out, when I first started living on my own, I was living on like 750 euros a month. So yeah, I could essentially make a game in 1 year and make more than like 7 grand off of it. So yep, thanks to having very low costs, yep, I was definitely able to make a living from my games. Hey CPU, hey, how's it going? Nice. New project, would you prefer Unity 6 or previous versions? Considering how Unity 6, the proper final version, is almost about to come out, I'm guessing it's going to come out, like I was saying a while ago, it's probably going to come out during Unite, which is going to be in, when is it? I lost the tab. Unite is going to, there you go, late September. So I'm guessing around this time, they are going to either publish Unity 6 final version or give a date for it. So yeah, if I were starting a project right now, yep, I would definitely use the current Unity 6 version and then upgrade to the LTS version whenever that one does come out. So yeah, that should be nice. In what case should you buy assets? Well, in the case that you need something that you probably can't do yourself. So in my case, I am not an artist. So for me, when it comes to visual stuff, yeah, I'm just going to buy assets. I'm just going to buy animations, textures, visuals. So yeah, you can use assets either to supplement your skill set, so basically help you fill any kind of skill gaps you have, or essentially really just to, okay, I do have the skill set of being able to make like some kind of pathfinding system, but making a proper one is going to take a ton of time, so let me just buy an asset and just save a ton of time. So yep, either collect skill gaps or save time, those can be great ways. Oh, reply to you. Okay, yeah, I'll check it out in a little bit. Yeah, thanks for your reply. I'm definitely interested in hearing more about that conversation, seeing different viewpoints. Definitely an interesting topic. What about the way you are project management? I don't make too much project management. Specifically talking about in the context of like making game design documents. Usually I don't do anything too complex. I just make some simple high-level overviews and very quickly start building a prototype. So that is usually how I do it. So nothing too insane. I don't make like 20 pages of designs and making UML diagrams connecting this and that. Usually I don't do that. Just make something simple, high-level overview, and then just start building a prototype and really iterate from there. So yeah, when it comes to project management in that sense of designing the entire game, just design a little bit and then constantly iterate upon it. I'll make a horror game. I very much, in theory, I would like to, just to test out the theory that Chris has said multiple times. Chris over here, yeah, why every indie dev should make horror game. So I would like to try out that theory to see if horror games really do have a relatively easier time of finding traction and relatively easier time of actually building a game. So from that, so as an experiment, I would like to do it, but yeah, I am not a fan of of playing horror games, so that would be a very interesting one. Like, can someone who does not like horror games build a good horror game? I guess that's an interesting question, but yeah, eventually I very much would like to experiment with that. That would be fun. Code question, I get the same transform for all the children of a parent in my queries. Not having a parent works, but how do you get the transform of a child in dots? So in dots for all the children, those are all, if you look at the parent, not game object, for the parent entity, it's going to have an array. It's actually a dynamic buffer. It's called child or something like that. I think it's like the child array, and inside it's an array. So it's an element that contains all of the children. So yeah, not having a parent works, but how do you get the transform of a child? Yeah, so then you can cycle through all those entities. Then on those entities, you can access the local transform, which is going to have the local values. And then it just becomes a little bit tricky if you want to convert those local values into global. Although I think that the local transform, I think that one does have a function in order to basically do that math, convert a local transform into global. So yeah, but essentially that's cycling through that component, that dynamic buffer, and it should be quite nice. Only burst sort of horror-esque. It's more strategy. It's more, well, it's as much horror as some like XCOM, I guess, which yeah does have some pretty scary zombies, but doesn't have any like in your face scary flashing things. So yeah, it's definitely more strategy than horror. But yeah, I guess it does have zombies, so horror-esque. Is your fitness going? Do you see any improvements? Yeah, it's going pretty nice. I mean, just a while ago, I did a really nice challenge where I did a bike ride for 127 kilometers, so that was fun. I spent like 8 hours on a bike, going nice and chill, nice and relaxing. So yeah, that was fun. Spending an entire day on a bike. That was definitely an interesting, really, really nice one. And yeah, just a while ago, I hit my bench PR of 120 kilos. That was fun. and just like earlier this week, I was doing 110 kilos, and it was pretty easy to do 5 reps. So yeah, hopefully hit a new PR sometime soon. So that should be that should be fun. Okay, so yeah, so on the just read the TLDR. So again, I really recommend you watch. Oh, is this? Oh wow, this one has a limit, does it? Yep, it does have a limit, so I can't post such a long link. That's funny. That's funny. So yeah, really great post on making small games and why you should do it too. Again, that is also very much my advice. Start small and continue small. I really like it. So TLDR, with time you have on your personal funds, better to make a few games than make no game, or making just one giant game. So basically, if you have X number of years that you have savings, spending that time making multiple games gives you more chances at finding success as opposed to just one. So that's really awesome. And refund rates are not high on tiny games. So if you make something that is only like 4 hours long, as long as it's good, the refund rate is really going to be the same. That's usually one criticism that people have of tiny games, which is, oh, they're going to play it for like 2 hours, 4 hours, they're going to play like half the game, refund, and so on. But turns out most people don't really do that. So you can even make a 2-hour game. As long as it's good, then yeah. Like for example, A Short Hike. Yeah, this is a great example. I think this game is like less than 2 hours long. But there you go, overwhelmingly positive review. Oh wow, that is literally 99% positive. Wow, that's insane. That is cool. So yeah, definitely. And yeah, people playing for 6 hours, 7 hours, 4 hours, 1 hour, 8 hours, 3 hours. So yeah, basically the idea that small games get higher refund rates. Thankfully, that is not really a thing. So you can definitely make small games and it won't be a negative impact. And yep, you won't make your dream game, but believe you'll make something better. Yeah, for me, this is an interesting one because I don't necessarily have any kind of dream game. I've got a ton of different ideas that I very much would like to build, but no dream game specifically. I actually made a video on that topic. Yeah, I'm making my not dream game on how I don't really have a dream game. I just have a ton of different ideas that I very much would like to build. So as I imagine myself like 70 years from now, when I'm 100, I want to look back and be able to see, okay, I made like 50 games that are all really interesting, really different, as opposed to, oh, I just made 5 masterpieces, I guess. I really like the idea of making a ton of stuff as opposed to just a small amount of things. This game, but tiny, such an easy pitch. Yep, that is also like a while ago we were talking about how to come up with ideas, and who are the 1% didn't like A Short Hike? That's a good question. So yeah, it's an easy pitch to say it's just like this game, but much smaller, much more focused. So yeah, coming up with ideas for simple games, for small games, that can also make it much easier to come up with interesting ideas. Making small games makes your indie game dev life and mental health so much better. Yep, I would say being able to basically finish games much more quickly. So it's relatively easy to stay motivated on a single project for like 3 months. It's much harder to stay motivated on just that one project for like 5 years. So when it comes to that, when it comes to being able to deal with yourself, oh yeah, GMTK finished Mind Over Magnet. Yeah, I saw that video. I saw the video on my recommend, but I haven't actually seen it. But is it actually finished or okay, so, oh, November, yeah. So I'm guessing he's doing a bunch of polish, and yeah, this is also one that took him quite a lot. When did he start this one? When they were Magnet on Steam. I think the first one was called Your First Unity Game. Did he do it? Okay, so this was kind of like his prototype when he made the, or nope. Yep, that's developing 2. What's developing 1? Did he make it, or was it that one? Okay, maybe it was that one. Anyways, it was around here. So that was 2 years ago. So yeah, he spent over 2 years, so 2 to 3 years, making a really interesting puzzle platformer. At least like me personally, I'm not. It was after the Flight Bird video. So yeah, that was where is it? I'm not seeing Flappy Bird. But yeah, anyways, around this, so like 2-3 years. So yeah. I mean, in his case, he started essentially from zero. As far as I know, he didn't have any previous game dev experience. So yeah, spending 2 to 3 years building a complex game like this, because it does look complex, even though it's a platformer. It does have a bunch of interesting mechanics, and he made a lot of interesting stuff in terms of well, building the entire art himself, so that takes quite a while. So yeah, definitely an interesting, and steamdb.info to see. So if we see mine over magnet, and let's see how much is it. It's on 2,000, so around 20,000, maybe 30,000 wishlist. So yeah. Although this one, again, for all of you watching, keep in mind, this does not mean puzzle platformers are easy to find success. Chances are this one will find success because A, he has a huge audience, and B, he's actually been doing a ton of playtesting, so I'm sure the final game will actually be good because he's been having a ton of people play it and improving on the feedback and doing all of those things, so he has been iterating a lot, so I'm pretty sure the final game will be good in terms of gameplay. But if you yourself are making a puzzle platformer, I would definitely carefully caution you against that, just because puzzle platformers are really difficult. So essentially, this one is essentially going to be the exception that proves the rule. So making a successful puzzle platform is really difficult. This one is likely going to be successful, but don't use that as an example of saying, okay, this one is going to sell 10,000 copies, so mine can also sell 10,000 copies. No, that is actually quite difficult. But yeah, with 20 to 30,000 wish lists, hopefully the game will be good. Hopefully it will be successful. So yeah, that will be... I'm definitely curious to play it, just to see. It should be quite nice. Yeah. Your videos on Dot's course getting out soon. Keep up the good work. Yeah, thanks. I'm glad you like the videos. Yep, I've been researching, like, for the next update. I'm going to be covering the animation system, and I think I'll also cover a bunch of buildings. So I've been looking at my prototype that I built in order to see all the elements that I made. I'm refactoring a bunch of that code in order to make the final course code. So yeah, I'm currently in the process of doing that. But yeah, in terms of when, I'm not too sure. I was planning for like the second week of this month, but but it's already like the end of this, so I'm not sure it's gonna be that. So maybe around this week, maybe something like that. So I'm actively working on it, so definitely at some point around here it should be fun. And it's the animation part, so yeah, animation is fun to work with. So even though it's going to be relatively complex to get animation done, it should be a fun one. So yeah, definitely stay tuned for that. Yeah. Plan to upload games to the Play Store for mobile? If not, then why? Well, the why is because making mobile games is different from making PC games. You've got a different input system, like you've got touch instead of mouse and keyboard, so that makes it different. You've got different screen resolution, so basically you can't really just take a PC console game and just port it to mobile and just assume that everything's going to work properly. No, it does require quite a bit more iteration on that. So that's one reason. Then another reason is mobile is even more difficult than Steam, like the in terms of how crowded it is. Like on Steam, you can see Steam developers complain about Steam all the time because Steam has like 20 new games coming out every single day. On mobile, that is like 200 games. So yeah, Steam's already crowded and mobile is insanely crowded. So on mobile, essentially if you don't have like an advertising budget, it is really difficult to make it. So yeah, those are usually my two things. I don't know too much how to do marketing on mobile, how to find success with a mobile game, and in terms of input, it requires quite a lot of reworking, quite a lot of refactoring. So yeah, because of those things, I really just stick in my lane. So stick making PC games, hopefully console games, stick with that, doing something like that. Yeah. That's about Unity 6. I've only been using it a little bit, but so far seems fun. Haven't had any crashes. Everything works pretty fine. So yeah, it's all really nice. Although I haven't use any of the new graphics features. I haven't touched those yet, so yeah, definitely do want to give those a try, but so far it's been pretty stable, pretty nice. So yeah, mobile you can talk with publishers. Yeah, I guess if you have a publisher that does know the market and they can help you actually bring that game to market, that can indeed help. Although of course with a publisher you've got to give an amount to that publisher. Whether that is a good or bad deal, that really depends. So as with so many things when it comes to publishers, there are good ones, bad ones. There are ones that can probably be really good and ones that can probably be not very good. So yeah, finding which one of those, again, you got to know that world. And me personally, I really do not know that world. So yeah. You have any tutorials on inverse kinematics? Yep, I do have the one on animation rigging, which is the rigging. There you go. Which is Unity's tool for making crap, I hate the I'm used to having premium, I'm used to not seeing any ads. Yeah, so animation rigging, this is Unity's package for doing inverse kinematics. So you can do a bunch of constraints, put a bunch of targets, and yeah, you can do a bunch of fun stuff. And at the end, you can make the simple thing, so just making a weapon follow any kind of thing. So yep, if you want to make some animation rigging, definitely go ahead and do that, yeah. Unity Dots is here something you would not recommend for beginners, and yep, that is correct. I do not recommend for beginners. I think Dots in ECS is really awesome, really cool, but yeah, it's definitely an advanced tool set. So yeah, like here on the course page, like I said, this is not a beginner level course, so Dots is an insanely powerful tool, and I definitely recommend you learn, but only once you're in the intermediate or advanced stage. If you're a beginner, then do not worry about Dots at all. Just focus on learning the basics with game objects and normal C#. As an example, you can follow my Beginner Kitchen Chaos course or my C# Beginner to Advanced course to learn those basics to get the intermediate level. And then once you get to the intermediate level, or if you're there already, then yep, I highly recommend you learn about Dots. So essentially, when it comes to Dots for beginners, nope, don't worry about it, just stick with game objects. You can make pretty much any game with game objects, so you can do all that. And then once you feel comfortable and once you would like to explore a tool that has a lot of really awesome positives, at that point, then yeah, you can start learning about Dots and basically get a new tool in your tool belt. But for beginners, stick with game objects, don't worry about Dots, yeah. Your water intake a day, 4 liters a day. It's been a while since I counted, but yeah, it's roughly around 4 liters that I drink per day. Yeah, pretty much. That's about it. Basically, I got a mug, and that mug fills up with about 300, and this thing is about 750, I think. So yeah, that plus all the water that I drink at the gym, plus all the water that I drink at the middle of the day. Yeah, roughly around 4 liters a day, which is a pretty nice amount. It's pretty cool. It's nice to be hydrated, I guess. For bench max, it's 120 kilos, which is pretty heavy. It took me quite a while to get to this point, so yeah. It's quite crazy at the same time to see people like Larry Wheels just easily warming up with my max bench, but yeah, it's a fun journey. I remember back in the beginning when I started, I was doing it with like 5 kilos on each side of the bar, so 5, 10, I was benching just 30 kilos, and it was pretty heavy. And yeah, now being able to do 120, that is definitely feels like a nice, fun achievement. So that could be, that was nice. Thinking about the future of VR, is an industry that will grow? Should I start creating in VR or XR? That is a very good question. I think yes. I think it's an industry that will grow, but like if you go back like 5 years ago, people were expecting VR was going to essentially just fly to the moon, when in reality it's been a very slow and steady uptrend. So yes, it is still growing as far as I know, but it's a very slow growth. So in the future, it won't be bigger, but it won't necessarily be like 10 times bigger. So it will keep growing. There is an interest in that. Personally, I'm a big fan of VR, and I think both VR and XR, I think those are really good. Although at the same time, with Apple coming into the thing with the Apple Vision Pro, which actually made can't open it. With the Apple Vision Pro, people thought, okay, this is gonna save a ton of things. What was I did one of these, talked about the Apple Vision Pro, don't remember which one, but yeah, essentially with the Apple Vision Pro, people were expecting, okay, this is gonna really blow up, but in reality, nope, it did not blow up. It just stalled a little bit, so it moved up a little bit, but at the same time, Meta is currently working on the MetaQuest Pro, or the MetaQuest 4, and also a new iteration to the MetaQuest Pro. So lots of interesting things, and yeah, definitely is an industry that I do think, yeah, and VR is also used a lot in maintenance for big manufacturer. Yeah, I do think in terms of industry, VR is going to grow more than it does in entertainment. I think that is probably going to be the thing in terms of industry, maintenance, working with big machines, or education sort of things like educating doctors and stuff like that. I do think the industry is going to grow quite a bit more in those areas. And when it comes to entertainment, it's going to be a much slower, smaller run. So yeah, that is roughly my view. I do like VR. I do think it's great. I do think it will continue to grow, but will not have an insane growth just like that. Incline bench. I really don't like incline, so I've never really tried out my max on incline. So my max is like, I don't know, like 20, 30, 60, 80. So like 80 is like the most that I normally do, because I really don't like incline. Just I don't know. It's a strange one. I don't feel too confident. So yeah, normally just do normal bench. Yeah. Hey Artem. Hey, how's it going? Yeah. Want to learn how to combine different programming languages on the same project? Can you give me an idea of a small project to combine C++, C#, and Python? I mean, for that goal, you don't necessarily need any specific project. Literally any project can be, and you can be like, you make one mechanic with C# normal in Unity, then you make another mechanic in Python. Although, can you export Python into a DLL, something like that? Or can you, I guess you can run Python directly inside Unity, so I guess actually that could be easy. Then on C++, you could make some kind of library and import it in C#. So yeah, I guess you could do that. Just come up with some idea and just split it into multiple different mechanics. So yeah, Flappy Bird, that could be a good one. So maybe make the bird jumping up and down, maybe write that code in C#. For the pipes, maybe write those in C++. And then for the UI, for calculating the score, maybe write that in Python. So yeah, that could definitely be a fun one. Yeah, should be nice. Okay, let me just keep going here. Yeah, this was fun. Yeah, so on the one about start small and stay small. Yeah, I'm always a big fan of making small games as opposed to spending 5 years working on your masterpiece. I believe you'll learn a lot more by making multiple 3 to 6 months games than spending years on a single one. Especially if you are a beginner, my advice is don't spend more than 6 months on your first 3 to 5 games. Make more games, make them faster, and you will learn a ton very quickly. So this is actually something that I didn't mention up here, which is also the rate of your learning. I really do believe you'll learn a lot more by finishing multiple projects as opposed to just making one massive project. Something that I've said many times is how unintentionally one of the awesome things that I did in my learning journey was just spending my 5 years that I spent making Flash games. Like in those 5 years, I made 40 Flash games. So that's 40. And yeah, I really do think that helped my learning process quite a lot, making so many games and making so many games that were very different. So it wasn't like 40 games, those were all like top-down shooters. No, I made shooter games, I made simulation games, management games, I made racing games, I made all kinds of games. And I really do believe that building all those games, all of that gave me a ton of experience, which gave me a ton of knowledge. So that is another reason why I'm a big fan of this strategy, start small and stay small, is because by making multiple games, you'll learn a lot more than making just one giant game. So yeah, definitely a big fan of that. Whichever hosts are participating in Game Jam. Thor just had his. There are more than a few coming up this month. Yep, I definitely would like to host a Game Jam. That is something that has been on my ideas list for many, many years. But yeah, being able to organize a Game Jam is a ton of work. So technically, yes, I would love to, but I'm only so busy with so many things. So coming up with organizing a massive thing, if I want to do it properly. So I would want to properly organize, not just say, okay, here's the Game Jam, go out, do your thing. No, I would want it to be something quite a bit more properly. So yeah, eventually, yes, but don't know when. So I guess we shall see. To make your dots course free? If yes, then when? I'm planning to make the first few hours of the course free. So like if the entire course in the end ends up being, I don't know, like 30 hours long, I do plan to make like the first 10 hours free on YouTube. So that is essentially the goal. So that is partly why on the course itself, I focused on the first few lectures, focusing specifically more on the core things of dots, and the later lectures on more specific things, more specific to this game. So that way, when I make the free version on YouTube, you'll be able to learn a lot about the general things of how dots works. So if you want to learn just for free, just that one will be more than enough. And then if you want to learn about this specific game, all of those specific features, you can then pick up the entire thing. But yeah, you can see here right in the beginning, starts with all the setup and so on, then learning about dot subscene baking, how that works, how to create a component, how to set up the unit, how to do a basic system, how to work with physics, how to get the muzzle in position, how to click to move, so click to move somewhere, how to convert it into a job and so on, dots physics recast, and yeah. So basically I made sure in the beginning to include as many different dots things as possible so that even people who just follow the free version, they can still learn the dot stuff and learn how to use this really awesome tool in their own games. Because yeah, it is a really awesome tool, really nice. A video covering how to properly destroy objects with dots. No, I don't have any specific video on that, although I'm not sure what you mean by properly destroy. In theory, you just destroy the entity and everything gets destroyed. It only becomes slightly complex if you have like parent-child relationships, but even at that point, if you destroy the parent, everything should be destroyed. So nope, don't really have anything specific, just because that usually should be relatively simple depending on what you're doing. So yeah. Once you've got your bearings and dots, does it affect your thoughts on its ideal use case? Anything harder, easier than expected? Well, in terms of my thoughts, didn't really change too much. I thought dots was awesome whenever you need extreme performance, and I still think it is awesome whenever you need extreme performance. So I guess the one thing that changed in my mind was like when they first announced it like 5 years ago, it looked like the best thing was going to be, okay, just make games either full dots or full game objects, whereas now it is very clear, no, the goal is a hybrid workflow. So for some things, like for example the UI, really don't make UI in dots, that really doesn't make much sense. So keep building your normal UIs just using game objects. But then for things like you've got an RTS, you want to control tons of units, those units should probably be dots entities. If so, they benefit quite a bit. And once you learn how dots works, it is actually not necessarily harder or easier than game objects, really just a different way of doing things. So yeah, when it comes to ideal use case, anytime you need extreme performance, I think it's a great thing. Or if you just personally really enjoy working on a data-oriented design, if so, then yeah, dots is also a really awesome thing. So yeah, it's really just another tool in your tool belt, and I do think it is an excellent tool for a lot of use cases, specifically when it comes to performance. So yeah, it should be fun. If you make a top-down shooter, yep, you just call entity manager dot destroy the entity, and yep, there you go, it just gets destroyed. So yeah, usually should be pretty much just like that. Would you make like procedural mesh generation with ProBuilder, like multiple rooms with like one mesh? I'm not sure with ProBuilder. Well, I guess, I mean, technically with ProBuilder you can call the functions, so technically I guess you could. Although that seems like a, I don't know, ProBuilder is usually made for actually building the things inside the editor, and not necessarily for building things dynamically, although again, technically you can, because you can call all the functions. But yeah, personally I wouldn't really do that. If you want to do procedural mesh generation, I would really just work with the mesh itself, just work with the vertex array and modify those. I would use those instead of trying to make it work with ProBuilder. So I don't think that would make things easier, I think that would make it more complex. But if you want multiple rooms in like one mesh, normally when it comes to procedural generation, the easier way to do it is make a bunch of prefabs for all your rooms, and then instead of dynamically generating those rooms, instead of that, really just pick a random room, then connect another random room, then another random room, and so on. So you're not randomly generating like entire meshes, you're just manually generating a bunch of pieces for the prefabs, and then just connecting random pieces together, and that works quite well. So yeah, that's usually how I prefer to do that. Oh, destroy the entity in an entity command buffer. Yeah, if you're cycling through entities, that is not the... If you're trying to destroy an entity that is included within the query, you're going to have an error. So yeah, definitely do use an entity command buffer in order to do it afterwards, yeah. Recently got Hot Reload. Have you tried it? Nope. I'm pretty sure I did buy it, I think. But nope, I haven't tried it yet. It's one of the many assets on my list that I very much would like to try, because I've heard great things about that one. I think that one is even like an official, like Unity, what do you call it? Like supported Unity something. Asset store, unity.com. I'm pretty sure it's actually, yeah, there you go. One of the popular asset, yeah, verified solution, that's what I want. So, yep, I've heard great things about it. I haven't used it, but I have heard great things about it. So, yeah, look at that, nominated for the awards. Fun. Wow, that is, that's a big difference. Nice. Yeah, very good. So, yep, I haven't used it, but it does look really awesome. So, yeah. Tried UI Toolkit or stick to UGUI in Unity? I'm planning to adapt it, not sure. I have tried it, and for example, for my C# course, the companion project that I built, is this? I don't even know. Simon.co/my C# course. For this one, I did make the entire companion project. So all of this, all of these custom windows that I made for the making the quizzes, the exercise, the things, all of this I made in UI Toolkit, and it was actually really nice. I really enjoyed working with it. It was definitely a nice experience, definitely much better than using IMGUI for building editor windows. So yeah, that was definitely much better. But when it comes to real-time in-game UI, for that, I'm really just going to stick with Unity UI. This is a big upgrade when compared to IMGUI, but I think Unity UI is really awesome. I really like it, so I really don't see a reason of changing from that one. So yeah, for edited tools, I will definitely use UI toolkit in the future, but for normal in-game UI, I will keep using Unity UI just like that, yeah. Programmer's Guide to Art. No, I haven't seen it. That sounds like an interesting topic, yeah. Definitely want to... Art. Nice, I haven't seen it, yeah. I'll add this to my queue. Thanks for the tip. Yeah, for me, my best my best trick when it comes to art is just buying assets. So yeah, if I was able to produce something a bit better, that would be nice. Of course, I learned that there are some very useful packages like Sin Machine, Sprite CD, Input System, etc. What basic packages do you recommend to include? I mean, those are basically the ones that you mentioned. So yeah, the Sprites package. I wonder why that one is not installed by default. It makes me wonder, is there any game that does not use the Sprites package? That seems very strange, because even 3D games, they have UI elements, so I don't know why that one is not built into the engine, but anyways, yeah, that's one that I install all the time. Sin Machine, yep, always. And Input System, yeah, whenever it's a more complex project, I also use that. So yeah, other packages, I don't know, I don't think anything else specifically. Those are all really awesome ones, so yeah. Beyond that, yeah, 2D sprite, yep, this is the one. I really don't know what... It seems like you always need the sprite editor window for something, but anyways. So yeah, out of those, yeah, when it comes to the essentials, that's pretty much it. First, why is this installed by default? Oh, it's used by the Universal RP. Oh, I didn't know that. That's nice. That's fun. So yeah, Sin Machine, really awesome. And yeah, when it comes to the general ones that are used for all things, then yeah, those are basically it. I mean, I guess if you want to use super fast code, maybe install the mathematical library so you can do things with the job system, but that feels like it's a bit more of an intense use case. Maybe splines, maybe that could be interesting. I haven't used it too much, but the little that I've used did seem like an interesting one. And yeah, so for those are indeed the general ones that I would always install. 26 preview found real-time lighting in URP broken when you use it from custom skybox. Okay, I'm not sure because I have not used a custom skybox. So really, is it broken? Like over here, I've got, this is Unity 6. But yeah, it doesn't have any custom skybox. So yeah, it's not going to have any issues. But yeah, anyways. So nope, I haven't experienced that, so I'm not sure. Can I make people hear about my game on Steam? The answer is marketing. So Twitter, Reddit, TikTok, YouTube, literally anywhere you can find, anywhere you can tell people about your game, that is the answer. There is no single bullet. There is no one single thing. It's really just, yeah, talk about your game as much as possible, make some compelling shorts on YouTube, some compelling TikToks, and hope that one of them goes viral and gets you a bunch of wish lists, and then hope that those wish lists convert, which then helps you find success. So yeah, it's very much a case to do a ton of stuff. Hopefully some of it sticks, and then hopefully some of that gets you quite a bit of success. On Unity 6 at this point, or still testing it out? Right now, I would say fully in. Like if I were to start a new project right now, I would definitely be using Unity 6. I mean, it's probably going to reach LTS version within the next few months. So yep, and it seems pretty stable. I haven't had any issues. I've been using it in a bunch of projects and no issues. It's fast, works fine. So yep, definitely seems like a pretty good one. Okay, so let me just yeah, so another news. So subscribe to your mouse. So this was a very strange one. So Logitech, the company that makes tons of peripherals, is apparently thinking about selling a mouse with a subscription service, the Forever Mouse. This was very strange news. The idea being that a mouse requires software updates. So does it? Yeah, I don't know. But the hardware does not need to change. So in order to support constant development of those software updates, they cannot sell something just once. So is this premise correct? Does the mouse require updates? Since they work by default, even without their special software, it tells me those updates aren't really required. I'll replace my mouse when it stops working. I think I've had 4 different ones in 30 years. So yeah, in my case, I do know that Logitech, they do have their special software thingy. But this doesn't feel like it is necessary. Like it's only necessary for like setting up lights, changing the DPI and so on. So basically with this, I installed this just because I have to, then set it up to 800 DPI, and that's really about it. So yeah, technically there is software, but it doesn't feel like it's a requirement. So when I read this news, that was my main thing. So does a mouse really require software updates? It does feel very strange. Anyways. But yeah, one interesting tidbit of information in that interview was when she says how only about 50% of people use a mouse and a keyboard today, which I guess makes sense given how prevalent touch devices are nowadays. But to me, as someone who uses desktop 95% of the time, I find that stat fascinating. So yeah, for me, I definitely use mouse and keyboard all the time. So whenever I'm here on my desktop or when I'm on my laptop. So yeah, for me, I do find it fascinating. I mean, I would assume that it is relatively high to people that don't use it, just because mobile phones and tablets, those have gotten so much better. But still, 50%, that seems quite crazy. Like, I can't imagine doing any serious work on a touch device. At least to me, but I guess not everyone is a programmer, so not everyone needs specific typing of things. So I guess for more simple, just talking about things, I guess just touch devices work well. So, but yeah, that was definitely an interesting stat on how it's 50%. That seems actually quite high. So when it comes to software, we are never going back. So Photoshop is a subscription, Unity is a subscription, Office as well. But for hardware, especially a mouse, I can't imagine people will want that. So yeah, and I think since I wrote this, I mean, this news came out like last week, and since then, I think they have posted out a statement saying, no, this was just an idea. We're not actually going to pursue it. So thankfully, it seems that people weren't really interested in subscribing to their mouse. So yeah, thankfully, it seems like this one is not going to really happen. We don't want software subscriptions either. Yeah, but sadly for that one, I think that one that one has been settled. There are more than enough people paying for it, either happily or unhappily. So yeah, I really don't think that when it comes to software, those are going back, even if people dislike it. Like, I wish I could just buy Photoshop once and that's it, but nope, I don't think that one is going back. But yeah, thankfully, at least when it comes to hardware, hopefully this won't really take hold. So yeah, I use my G915 keyboard, G920S webcam, and a Pro Wireless, which is kind of funny how it's like it wasn't necessarily intentional, but I did end up with tons of Logitech stuff just just by accident, and I really like it. So yeah, I mean, these are really good, but I definitely would not like having to pay a subscription for it. That would definitely be a strange one. Although no matter how much I like it, how much I like my setup, I can't imagine paying a monthly subscription, so this idea sounds very strange to me. I also have no interest in an AI-powered mouse with tons of extra lights, profiles, features that they have nowadays. I just set the DPI to 800, set it to 1000 Hz, disable the RGB, and that's really it. So yeah, when it comes to me, really no need for complex software for my mouse. As long as it works as a mouse, it's working perfectly fine for me. So yeah, this is definitely quite a strange one, yeah. GIMP is good enough. Never going to pay yourself for Photoshop. Nice, yay, yeah. If you find something with a better service model, better business model that works, then yeah, definitely do go for it. And yeah, it's definitely awesome to not have to pay $60 a month. But yeah, for me, I got used to Photoshop, I got used to Premiere, so they kind of got me. Yeah, sadly that's how it goes. What mic do you use? Yeah, it's the Blue Yeti, which I've had for literally since the very beginning of this channel. So yeah, I've had it for well, I guess since 2013, so I've had it for a very long time, and still works. It's a nice microphone, seems to work pretty well. So yeah, pretty nice one, yeah. Release the advanced C# course. The goal is somewhere in the middle of this month, so probably on a Monday. So probably on here, probably on the 19th, something like that. So yeah, that's the plan. So it should be around that. Use dependency injection. I've recently started using Zenject dependency injection. Not quite, just because when it comes to super hardcore testing, usually I don't do too much. Usually I I try to make my code testable without actually writing tests. So since I don't actually write tests, I don't necessarily need too much for dependency injection, but I definitely do use a ton of interface in my code. So technically, if I wanted to do it, technically I could do it. So yeah, I don't really use it, but I could use it. And yeah, Zenject, if you're doing something pretty complex, then that using a proper API to do dependency injection, that can definitely be a positive thing. So yeah, that is a great tool to learn how to use. Yeah. A few friends that have expressed interest in game dev but are starting totally from scratch. Do you have video series you'd recommend for absolute beginners? I would say, oh man, I've got way too many tabs. Oh, if you want to learn about C#, then my free C# video or my C# course, that would be great. But if you want specifically about game dev, learn beginner, I've got my Kitchen Chaos 10-hour course, which a lot of people seem to really love. So I'll definitely use this. Love you. Hey, love you too. Yeah, thanks for being here. So yeah, this one, a lot of people really enjoyed this video. It's probably my most successful video on this channel. So yeah, for beginners, this one's really awesome. Starts from the absolute beginning until making a nice, fun game. So yeah, definitely start with those. Either that one for C# specifically, or that one for learning how to make a game from start to finish. Yeah, you guys great. Nice. Yeah, I'm glad people like it. Hey, boa tarde. Hey. Brazil. So what time is it in Brazil? I guess minus 8 hours, 6 hours, something like that. So I guess like midday. Yeah. Yeah, boa tarde. Obrigado. Instead of 120 mouse is having a 10-month free you pay annually. But I think price for mouse is pro gamer price. Yes, with difference being that I guess after 1 year you still have the mouse. Whereas with the subscription you paid for 1 year, and after 1 year, if you stop paying, you lose it. So yeah. For me, I'm a big fan of buying things and then keep using them until they stop working. So for this mouse, yeah, I'm guessing this mouse is like $100, something like that. But I've had it for over a year, I think. So yeah, I guess I've already paid less than $10 a month and it still works great. And I'm hoping it'll still work great for like 2 to 3 years. So yeah, that should be a fun one. Having a problem where the debugging lines don't match up when debugging attached to Unity. I tried cleaning the build, deleting the library cache, anything else. Are you doing something with dots? Because if so, that is a known bug. How dot says, okay, there's an error on line 128, but it's really on line 130, something like that. So if you are talking about dots, that is a known bug. So I don't think there's anything you can do about it. You can just look at lines that are nearby instead of looking at just a specific line. If you're talking about non-dots, then I'm not sure what is the thing. I don't think I've ever had issues with like debugging with different lines. So yeah, sorry, I'm not sure. If it is non-dots, then yeah. If it is dots, then yeah, it's a known issue with it. I've had that issue myself where it says happened on some line, but it's actually on nearby line. So when you have that, the solution is really just if it tells you that it's on this line, don't take that for granted. Look above and below, and any of those might have the line. That has to do with how dots in the background does a ton of source generation, and all of that source generation, basically it has to hard code in the intermediate compiler. It has to hard code the line numbers so that it tells you the correct line numbers. But apparently sometimes I get messed up, so it says the error is on some line, but that's because the source generation messed up and it's actually on a different line. So yeah. The only option that I know is really just look on a similarly related line, and hopefully you should find the issue. Any advice for Iranian beginner game dev? The advice is the same as for anyone else. So really, if you want to learn, then Kitchen Chaos course, really awesome one. So if you are a beginner, start with that one. Maybe watch my C# course if you want that. So yeah, those two are really awesome beginner things. Just depends, do you want to make a game or do you want to focus on the language itself? Both are really great starting point. Yeah. Running my $15 keyboard for years now. Yeah, the previous keyboard, the one that I had before this one, I had it for like, I want to say like 15 years, something like that. Because I remember that I had that keyboard as a kid and it only died like 2 years ago, a year ago. So yeah. And it was not an expensive keyboard. So yeah, I'm guessing I paid for it something like 15 bucks, 20 bucks. And it's somehow that keyboard survived for literally 15, 20 years. So yeah, it's quite amazing how some things just seem to last quite a lot. So yeah, it's a nice one. Part 2 not course be ready soon. I'm currently actively working on it, so the answer is yes soon. As to when soon, I'm not sure. Perhaps on this week, something like that. So yeah, I'm currently researching, writing, testing it, validating, and so on. But yeah, so around this, hopefully, should be something like that. Should be a nice one. Do you have many Portuguese people in the channel? I'm curious how many Portuguese devs are making games. I think that would be interesting to see. That is a good question. I think the answer is like 3%. Let me look at my analytics. My audience or geographies. Try moving this one. Look at that. So this is for the last 30 days. So US up top with 70k, then India, United Kingdom, Turkey, Germany, Russia, and looking at Portugal, I'm guessing it's, there you go, down here. So I guess 0.6%, so it's a bit less than I thought, but still 3,000 people. That's quite a lot of people. So yeah, that's pretty nice. So yeah, definitely but it's a nice mix. I like that. So it's not like, there are some channels that are like 90% US. I like how this one is quite a bit, dogs are getting hungry. Yeah, he's walking around everywhere. So yeah, I like how it's a nice mix. So US, India, UK, Turkey, Germany. Yeah, really nice mix of countries. And yeah, Portugal over here on 0.6. So yeah, pretty fun, pretty nice. Right. There's something a bit of fun. So No Man's Sky loading system debug. So a fun video showing a debug camera moving super fast No Man's Sky, where you can clearly see their loading system in action and importantly see how fast it is. So here's the video. So someone with loading times, smoke and mirrors, and how in reality this one doesn't actually have that much smoke and mirrors. Like it just moves a camera super fast. It is super fast, just loading all the things. There's all those flashes, which I think it's actually loading something. And you can see how the terrain streams, how the level of detail, how the trees start coming in. So yeah, but it's quite insane how in 20 seconds you can go from one world, which is all loaded into memory, somehow unload all of that, load a completely different world with a completely different biome, and somehow do all of that super fast, and the whole thing running on a PS5 right here. It's definitely quite insane, the loading system they built for this. So yeah, it's quite an amazing thing. I mean, if you try doing this by default, you are going to encounter a lot of issues. So this is definitely a very amazing thing. So very impressive, yeah. And these don't care much about cutting patterns, clean code, just trying to make the thing. Instead of trying to understand how the thing have to be made, they will make the indie dream. I mean, technically, when it comes to code quality, technically, you can build anything with bad quality code. But if you write bad quality code, the chances of you ever reaching the end of that project are much, much smaller, as opposed to if you write proper code. If you write dirty code, you can always build something tiny that's not going to be an issue. But if you make anything relatively complex, like if you were to make No Man's Sky, if you were to make that without any concern for code quality, you would never finish this game. You would get to a point where you just get drowned in a ton of complexity. You would never reach the end. You would get to a point where you can't just add more mechanics, you can't just add more things, because anytime you add one thing, you've got to modify a billion different files and you just get all completely messed up. So yeah, technically you can make anything work with bad code, but the more complex it is, the more that becomes a really difficult task. So yeah, you don't care about clean code and patterns until you experience your own foot gun injury. So yeah, that has definitely happened to me quite a while. I did spend quite a long time not really worrying too much about quality of my code, just, okay, if it works, it works. And eventually what I was saying was actually happening to me. As I was trying to make more and more complex games, I was figuring out that at the end of development, things were becoming much, much more difficult to develop. Like, I remember making Survivor Squad. I remember in the end, trying to make the boss fights and all those things, how it was such a mess, so difficult to do all this AI. Like, if I had a proper code base, I could have made all of these complex systems interactions. That would have been much, much easier to make if the code base was actually solid. But the whole thing was quite a mess. Although it wasn't as much a mess as when I tried, because by the time that I made this game, I already had like 6 years of experience making games. So yeah, I already had a little bit, but still, the code was definitely not, I was definitely not super focused on code quality, and that did definitely, like Ben said, yeah, you definitely get your own foot injury. You're going to shoot yourself in the foot. So yeah, I definitely did experience that. And since then, I definitely gained more and more of an appreciation for how to write good, clean code. And if you do that, that is the only way you can make complex games. Like, I could not have made Dinky Gardens if I was... Oh, crap. I could not have made this game without focusing on code quality. This is a very complex game, tons of systems, all of them interlocking, all of them talking to one another. I could not have made this game without thinking about code quality. If I was writing dirty code, this game would simply never be finished. So, yep, that is why nowadays I'm constantly talking about clean code. It's because I did experience what it's like to not worry about it, and I did experience these sufferings. I did shoot myself in the foot many times, so yep, that is why nowadays I'm very much like that. Certain RTS with both space and surface combat. Yeah, I mean, making... Oh, is this one playing sound? Oh crap, I hope that doesn't mess up the stream. So yeah, if you want to make a giant game, something like Total Annihilation, an RTS like that, you definitely do need to consider loading quite a bit, because it is going to be quite a challenge. Just ignore me too, that works. Sorry, I'm trying to keep up with all the comments. What streaming software do you use? I'm using OBS. Actually, right here on the side. There you go, look at that, Inception. Yeah, OBS, really awesome, free software. It's quite amazing how this is free. It's like definitely quite an insane thing. Such an awesome software, so useful, so used by so many people, and yet it is completely free. So yep, definitely a big fan of OBS. It does pretty much everything all the time. So yeah, this really fun video in a few seconds can easily load and unload multiple completely different planets, along with all the levels of detail in all the objects. And if you pay close attention, you can naturally see some pop in, so the loading is fast but not instant, and the grass, terrain detail, all of that rendering showing up. But in normal gameplay, it just looks beautifully, perfectly smooth. So yeah, if you really pay attention frame by frame, you can see the terrain popping out. Look at those objects disappearing, the terrain slowly fading away, and with that, a different level of detail for the terrain mask. That one showing up, and as it zooms in, yep, you can see it starts to show the clouds, then starts to show some terrain, then terrain merging into another terrain, then different level of detail, then starts showing all the particles and so on. So yeah, so if you look at it, you can see things streaming in and out of existence, but yeah, in normal gameplay, you really don't see it just because it is so insanely fast and looks really awesome. Look at that, going to another different one, loading all the things, and yep, looks perfect, insanely fast, insanely performant. That is definitely quite an amazing one. So yeah, I always love learning about tricks for how developers handle loading. 20 years ago, it was all about long elevator rides. Yeah, it's kind of funny how this is the kind of thing how I can write this over here, and I wonder how many people know what I'm referring to. Because nowadays, yeah, for a few years now, well, I guess the God of War game, which came out in 2018, did have some tight spaces to hide the loading. So that problem hasn't necessarily fully vanished, but yeah, I do wonder how many people remember long elevator rides, because yeah, those used to be all the way back in the early 2000s, because it did take some time to load a completely different level. So yeah, the best way is really just making a long elevator ride, add some dialogue, and you can easily unload something, load something else, and it looks really awesome. But yeah, nowadays we just need a tiny bit of smoke, and perhaps one day things might be so fast we might not need to hide any loading at all. So yeah. Chad Sharp. That's a funny name. Yep, Portal 2, always those elevators. Really nice, really cool, yeah. How do you come up with the game name? That is a very tricky question, because yeah, coming up with a good game name is indeed quite a tricky thing. So yeah, that is one thing that you definitely have to workshop it, look at similar games, look at games similar to yours to get some ideas. Maybe ask AI to brainstorm a bunch of game name ideas. So yeah, basically anything can work as a game, but some things like, for example, Chain Together, that is a great name. It's a very clear name. It very clearly describes what the game is all about, and it wasn't taken. So yeah, just by itself, a really great game. Euro Truck Simulator. I like really descriptive names. So 7 Days to Die, that is fun. But yeah, if you try going for something super complex, super unique, like Fields of Mystria, I don't know what that is, but apparently it does have 1,000 reviews, so apparently it is a positive one. But yeah, if you try going for some, hey, Mini Settlers, that was fun. Almost like that factory game with thing. Nice. Just 27 reviews. Oh, interesting. Looks nice. So yeah, coming up with a name is always an interesting challenge. It's always a fun one. Yeah, the name should generally describe the core concept or the idea. Yep, especially for indie developers. If you try going too unique, that is going to be tricky. So usually for indie developers, going a bit more generic, a bit more X simulator, that is usually a better way as opposed to coming up with a really unique name that nobody's going to know how to pronounce. So yep. About to learn how to create a 2D turn-based strategy. Is Unity a good way to go? Yep, sure. I mean, pretty much any engine nowadays is great for making any game. So Unity and Real Godot, all of those are capable of making 2D turn-based strategy games. So yep, personally, I love Unity, but yep, use whatever, and all of those are really going to work for making that kind of game. Yeah. Do a copy of Gun Mayhem. Implementing enemies that shoot and move through the platforms is doable. In how much time without experience? I'm not sure what is Gun Mayhem. Really interesting shooting game. Is it an IO game? Okay, so like a side-scrolling shoot-'em-up game. Okay. But is it multiplayer or with AI enemies? Making this in single player, relatively easy. Making it multiplayer, a bit more complex. But implementing AI that shoot and move through the platforms is doable in how much time without experience? I mean, if you literally mean no experience, then it is going to be a bit of a challenge. Because you do need to learn quite a lot of things. So yeah, how much time? I don't know, 3 months. It really depends on what you mean by without experience. It is not, based on the screenshots, because I'm not familiar with the game, but a side-scrolling shoot-'em-up, it is not necessarily super complex, but if you have zero experience, then even making something like Flipboard is going to be relatively complex. So yeah, maybe a few months, but yeah, definitely by looking at the screenshots, definitely a doable project. So yeah, sounds like a fun, nice start project, yeah. Physics is tough. Any ideas for how to do that mechanic? For Portal, the big issue is not necessarily the physics. That part should actually not be too difficult. Generally, you just have to see, okay, when this cube or this sphere goes inside the portal, just spawn it on the other place and apply the correct opposing physics. The issue with making a Portal game, the bigger issue is with rendering. Like, you have a portal, and you have to render like half a cube over here, and then on the other portal, you have to render the other half of the cube. So that is really tricky. Yeah, Sebastian Lag, pretty sure he does have a video on that. So yeah, if you're going that approach, Portal, yeah, I'm pretty sure I remember seeing, yeah, this one. Yeah, that's exactly it. So yeah, handling the visuals, that is the really tricky thing, because you have to render essentially two objects. So yeah, that part becomes really tricky, very, very complex, very quickly. Yeah, being able to move between the portals and being able to see the correct perspective from the correct angles, then being able to move an object from here to there and do so. So yeah, Portal is one of those things that sounds relatively simple in theory. It's really just a hole connect to another hole, but in reality, it's a lot more complex. So yeah, it's definitely one of those deceptively simple looking games that is actually very complex, which by itself means that it is a great game mechanic to work as a sword challenge. Look at that. That's fun. Nice. Take a look at Ninja Remix on Steam and suggest some changes we do. Let's see. Ninja Remix. Okay, the particles look nice. They look interesting. The levels seem a bit... Oh, Master Unique Jutsus. Oh, that sounds like a fun concept. Build your clan with diverse ninjas and dive into multiplayer PvP battles or progress through the story, all set to a cool funk beat. I have no idea what is a funk beat, but I don't have audio right now, so I'm hoping it sounds nice. But yeah, I like the particles. The particles do look really cool, and the hand signs, those also look really cool. Nice, yeah. Basically, how to make a Naruto game without Naruto IP. So yeah, I mean, without sound, just looking at the trailer, it does seem nice. I would only say that the visuals over here seem a bit too basic. Like, this area seems way too empty. So like, I really like the particles, but it seems like the area is maybe way too basic. But the particles look good, so maybe that can actually... And I do like that one about the player being pushed upwards. I think it makes it very clear what the game is about. So yeah, in terms of mechanics, I actually think it's really awesome. I think maybe the visuals just need a little bit of a polish over here. But I don't know, that's just a minor nitpick. So in general, just looking at the visuals, it does seem pretty nice. And the particles and the screenshots, I guess you could maybe have a little bit of variety, because like these 3 screenshots all look pretty much exactly the same. So there's a character doing something on top of grass. So I guess I would spend some time building some different biomes. Yeah, the grass looks too even. Yeah, it looks like this has literally the same height at all points. So maybe that is why it looks so basic. Because the grass all looks just one uniform thing, as opposed to having, I don't know, some flowers here and there, something like that. So yeah, I would build a different biome, one on like desert, snow, something like that. Yeah, having some hills or different height. And yeah, this screenshot is a bit strange. I'm guessing it's showing this character, but yeah. Remix. I really like this image. That is nice. For a game where strategy, creativity, and a bit of nonchalance can make you a legend, step into Ninja Remix. Build your clan, master your jutsus, and claim your place at the top. So this is single player and PvP. Nice. Make hand signs, call jutsus. That sounds nice, yeah. I do like the idea of mixing hand signs. Like, one of my favorite games growing up was Magica. So the idea of Magica plus ninjas, I'm already interested in it. So yeah, that sounds nice. Create your clan. That's a nice screenshot. That is cool. I mean, could be animated, but just by itself looks pretty cool. And engage mode. Oh, look at that. You've got an interesting little biome over here. Why don't you have one of those screenshots? Kind of like this biome being standing on rocks. Like, this reminds me of like a DBZ screenshot, something like that. So that could be cool. Ninjika. That would be nice, yeah. Community-driven epic. Yeah, that sounds nice. So honestly, in general, I do think it is pretty good. I do think the capsule image definitely does require something. I would say this definitely looks way too basic, so I would hire an artist, something like that, to make a proper capsule, because the capsule does mean quite a lot. It matters a ton, and this capsule does look extremely basic. Like, like essentially, this looks like something that I would do. Me with 0 art skills, that's basically what I would do. Just pick up an image of the character, pick up the logo, put some blurry thing on the background, that would do. So that's what I would do, but I'm not an artist, so that that means not necessarily very good. So I'll definitely hire a proper artist to make a proper capsule. And yeah, in terms of the description over here, sounds nice, sounds cool. Me personally, as someone who likes ninjas, Naruto, yeah, that is cool. So yeah, then I would modify a few of those things, but in general, pretty nice, yeah. Now let me see, steamdb.info. Let me see. Ninja Remix. So this one has 12 followers, so about 100 wish lists. So yeah, definitely do those changes and then start doing some marketing. Start posting some GIFs on Twitter, something like that. Because I do think the creating the jutsus, that is an interesting one. So if you come up with an interesting title and make an interesting GIF showing a bunch of images, like a mini fight and so on, I do think that could do well on Twitter, Reddit, maybe even on TikTok and something like that. So yeah, that could be, that's what I would try to get a bit more visibility, wish lists and so on. But yeah, so far it looks really cool. So yeah, congrats on that. Yeah, nice. Channel hit subs, but a lot of users want for mobile. Yeah, yeah, for this kind of game, yeah, it's but yeah, I guess some of those will want for PC. So yeah. It's always tricky to get that. Like, I'm making a PC game, but people are asking for mobile, but it's not really possible and so on. So yeah, but yeah, I would say you're on the right path. So yeah, definitely do keep going, because yeah, that looks quite nice. Look at Castle Yards. Step into the role of medieval lord in Castle Yard, a captivating castle management game where your strategic decisions shape the fate of your realm. Manage resources, train knights, and navigate the intricate politics of your court to lead your people to prosperity. Okay, that sounds like an interesting thing. Although it seems like the trailer is way too slow. So in like 25 seconds, we've seen just basically 2 images. So is it like a text adventure sort of thing? That does make it a bit hard to make a more compelling trailer. So you got a bunch of resources. Then you've got size, so you manage a bunch of things. Okay, you've got a nice jousting minigame. That's fun. Nice. But yeah, the beginning is definitely way too slow. Again, I don't have sound, so I don't know. Like, I don't have headphones right now, so I can hear. But yeah, it does seem like... So it takes like 10 seconds. There you go, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It's almost 20 seconds before we see something a little bit different, like in the beginning. Yeah, it doesn't look like a visual novel, which I guess... But is it? Because on this description, I see it more as like a castle management game. So like, I don't know, kingdoms and castles. So I'm imagining something top-down, managing a castle, building things and so on. Whereas, yeah, the trailer definitely gives the vibe of being much more of a visual novel. So yeah, I would say definitely the trailer seems a bit too slow. For the screenshots, sure, they look nice. They have nice variety. I would just say over here, this one seems a bit too basic. So I would maybe add some icons over here for each of these. So come up with an icon so it's not just text on a colored background. Have some kind of icon to make it a little bit more interesting. So I would probably do that to make this pop out a little bit more. For the fonts, looks nice. And the background art, that does look nice. And yeah, icons help with localization too. Yeah, that's also a very good tip. Very nice. How will you roll? Okay, the font is a little bit hard to read, but it does match with the theme, so I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Step into the role of medieval lord in Castle Yard, an immersive RPG management game where your strategic decisions shape the fate of your castle and realm. Manage resources, train knights, and navigate the intricate politics of your court to lead your people to prosperity. Yeah, that is a nice one. Your choice matter. You've got in-depth management and exciting tournaments. So you've got nice little joust. Boom! There goes a little shield. So yeah, although over here I would say you need to add some kind of bold letters, some kind of okay, you've got bullet points, but yeah, I would definitely add some bold letters over here at some point, just because the text is too bland, basically just being like this, just being normal text. So I'll definitely put some things like the Castle Yard in bold, or jousting tournaments in bold, something like that. So I would add a little bit of different, hey, Procedural Games, hey, how's it going? So I would definitely add that to make it a little bit more different. But yeah, the images, the GIFs, I do like those. So yeah, and the thing over here, I think maybe the text is a bit too small. I don't like how it is like really under the castle, and you couldn't really increase the size of the castle without hiding the rest of this. So I do think the background image is nice, although the text does seem a bit hard to read, a bit too tiny. So very beautiful image, but yeah, definitely having being a little bit hard to read. So maybe I would experiment with that, maybe experiment with some shadows, some thickness, something like that. But in general, the image behind it is definitely awesome. So it could be a bit larger if you move it a little bit down here. Yeah, maybe a little bit like that could be an interesting one. Missed our important Saturday stream, was on vacation. Yeah, that's cool. I hope you enjoyed your vacation. Nice, yeah. Yeah, and definitely best of luck with the game. Gem entry, Spellweaver on itch. Oh. This one, I guess. In terms of visuals, it does seem quite nice. Point and click puzzle game. Ooh, I gotta say I'm not good with I'm not good at point and clicks. Start with 6 base elements and combine them together. Oh, so it's kind of like that crafting game, something like that. Oh, is this? I don't know if this is messes up the stream or not, so let me just put that. If I put it in full screen, I think it's gonna mess up a bunch of things. New game. Header buttons to spawn elements. Conjuring elements cost points. Drag and drop elements to combine them. Unlock new elements. Throw elements on the recycling bin or trash to clear them. Trash loses points. Recycles refunds most of them. Try to unlock. So right away, my advice would be, okay, this seems like way too much text, so I would definitely split this into parts, and I would be like, okay, when I interact with this part, teach me what this does, then after a while teach me what this does, then after a while teach me what this does, instead of a pre-wall of text, I would say. Yeah, show, don't tell, definitely. Button spawn, conjuring them. Okay, so if I... And is the tooltip meant to be that big? I'm guessing this is some kind of issue, possibly an issue with being in full screen or not, or maybe I guess just the thing like that. Oh, you just click on it and then you mix them together. Why are there spiders? Am I supposed to kill the spiders? If I pick up their blood? Okay, we got some water and crystals. Mix a sapphire apparently, and burn a sapphire. What does it do? It doesn't do anything. So burn some dark thing and create smoke. Then smoke and air. Does it do something? Nope, doesn't do anything. Oh, wasn't I supposed to see smoke up here? So dark crystal with a spider. Can I merge with the spider? No, I can't. Okay, the spider is eating my stuff. So let's make a dark crystal. Amethyst. That's nice. Amethyst and earth. Does it do anything? Nope, doesn't do anything. But yeah, wasn't I supposed to get a bunch of things added up there? Because we've got earth and light. Mix the crystals. Light and fire doesn't do anything. Oh, it does. A ruby. Nice. There you go. Why do some of them get added up here and some don't? I'm not sure I understand that one. And what are the I guess they give you spell points, something like that? So I've made clouds. Can I make rain clouds? Yeah, I can make rain. And what do they do with rain? Go into earth. Nope, can't do anything with earth and rain. So about earth and light. Does that give me... Nope, I wanted to make like plants or something. So let me burn some... Makes lava. Okay, that's fun. And lava plus air. Doesn't do anything. Okay, so let me make a cloud of lava. Nope. So take lava and let's burn a ruby. Nope. So what can I do with lava? Let's burn something. Nope. Lava and more fire. So I guess, yeah, it doesn't do anything. Okay. Some more earth on lava. Nope. I've got rain. Oh, how about if I take lava and add some water? Okay. Add some clouds, rain, and ruby. Nope. Okay, some dark fire. Did I already try that? Okay, make smoke and things. Nope. Yeah, because some of them recycle the entire board. Oh, it just takes out all of those. Gives me some kind of thing. I can destroy elements. I can see hints. Earth with crystal. Oh, that's nice. I do like having a nice hint system. So I can make an emerald. Dark with lava. Didn't I try that? And didn't work? Oh, obsidian. Nice. Can I mix two gems? Nope. Catalog. So all the recipes. Oh, 16 out of 400. Oh, it's scrolling up and down. So this would be nice to have some kind of bar. Just to be able to see, okay, if I scroll down enough, am I not? Okay, not sure, but yeah. I do like the hint system just because I always suck. So let me try putting fire and water. Makes alcohol. Really? Fire and water. Okay, I guess. And earth with dark. What is that going to do? It's going to make some stones. Nice. Sure. I only had 2 weeks to make it. Yeah, I mean, this is really awesome for 2 weeks or even more than 2 weeks. It does have quite a lot of content. I mean, with 400 recipes. I'm guessing you defined all of these things using scriptable objects and all the recipes using scriptable objects. So it's really one of those games that is very content heavy, trying to do quite a lot of things. Firewater. Yeah. So yeah, I'm guessing this is one of those games that the mechanics themselves I'm guessing you probably made those relatively quickly, but then trying to work quite a lot at building all the recipes, all the possible combinations, make them in a way that makes sense, makes interesting. But yeah, it's definitely a fun, interesting game. So yeah, congrats on building this for the game jam. Did this get like submission page? So did it finish already? I don't know. So like, does it have a score? Yeah, a bunch of people really liked it. Extremely well made for a game jam. Yeah, really awesome. Yeah, that is definitely. Judging is still going on. Oh, okay, nice. All right, but yeah, definitely looks like a good one. I have no idea what the theme was. What was the theme? The theme, Shadows and Alchemy. Okay, so yeah, definitely does make sense. So it does indeed match up with the theme. So yeah, nice. Yeah, I hope the voting does well. It's cool. Find recipes in Google Sheets and export it to JSON, then automate the scriptable objects using Asset Creator. Now that is awesome. That is a really cool usage of external tools and then building your own tools to help you develop your game. That is definitely really awesome. So yeah, congrats. It does look like a really nice game, especially for being built in 2 weeks. That is definitely really cool. So yeah, congrats on the game. Really nice. Okay, so yeah, it's already, oh wow, it's almost 7. Oh, I didn't know it was so late. So yeah, my dogs are walking around, as you can probably hear. So yeah, gonna go and do something and so on. By the way, for those of you who are channel members, I do the I got the that's what I didn't even know what I was looking for, but yeah. For those who are channel members, I do have the live streams every Saturday, so I'll be doing that tomorrow. So if you do, then check the members Discord and you'll find the link for the live stream for tomorrow. So yeah, basically I've been doing those consistently, and I do hope to be able to do some more of these public live streams in the future. So yeah, should be fun, should be interesting. And yeah, if you're interested in staying up to date, definitely check out the Game Dev Report. I should publish another one on Sunday. I've been pushing that out. So yeah, if you want to read the news, definitely look into that, sign up, and yeah, it's a fun way to stay up to date. And I started a new project in Unity and found the fastest version is 2019.4. Oh, really? That is pretty old. I would say 2019.4 isn't even officially supported, so I would definitely use something a bit later. But yeah, I mean, I guess if that one is the fastest version, I guess depends on what you're doing. I would not release a game on that version just because it seems like it's way too old. That's like 5 years old now, so that might have issues with compatibility. But you could definitely build the entire game like that, and then 1 month before release, then upgrade to the LTS version and be pretty nice. So yeah, roughly that's what I would do. Okay. Oh, there's some. Okay. All right. Okay. So, oh yeah, and if you want speed, then using the hot reload asset, that can definitely help out quite a little bit. Okay. So let me put this like that and so on, and it should be fun. So let me pop this back. How do I pop this back? There you go, like that. All right. So yeah, thank you all for being here, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, weekend. And if you remember, then I will see you all tomorrow. All right, so yeah, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. All right, bye everyone.